You know, this program is all about encouraging you. It's all about inspiring you. It's all about challenging you to embrace your divine purpose, and not only just embrace it, but to live your purpose with the spirit of excellence. My guest today, my goodness, has embraced her calling, knowing that her purpose is to help those that have been marginalized, those that have been literally kidnapped and placed into human traffic. My goodness, how gross, how profane, how vile that people would take another human being, a creation of God, and profit from the pain of it. I want you to stay tuned and learn that when you see something that looks out of the ordinary, rather than going along to get along, you ought to say something. People right on of our noses are involved in human trafficking. And if we don't do something, then nothing will happen. I want you to stay tuned and join me today.
I'm Josh Trim with Pennington and Trim Alarm Services. We firmly believe in offering the latest and greatest in camera and access control technology. With the Alarm.com platform, we're able to offer a user-friendly and fully integrated service to do just that.
We're a light that shines your way. Let us in and you will find security and peace of mind. Go on and keep on now.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Defining Moments. I'm your host, Larry Nixon. I am so excited that you've joined me today. I've said this many times, and I really want you to get it. I want you to know that you're not here accidentally, incidentally, but you've been created providentially. That means that God foreknew that He would want to create you. Why? The Bible says we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works that God prepared for us beforehand. What does that mean? If you were to look at that backwards, if you were to consider that statement or that scripture backward, that simply means that God created the work and He needed someone to tend to the work. Let's look at it this way. So God created the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was without someone to work it. And God did not want the Garden of Eden to be self-sufficient. So God created Adam. Adam came to tend to the garden, to work the garden. In fact, He told Adam, work the garden. Then God brought Eve out of Adam and charged them both to work the garden. And that is the charge I give you. For you to be reminded that you're not here just to meander. You're not here just to waste time. You're not even here to profit of yourself. But you are here because God created you, and we are His masterpiece. He put Himself inside of us. God created you to tend to His garden. This particular garden, if you will consider the visual, God created the earth, and He created you to tend to the earth. I've enjoyed all of my guests. I enjoy all of my programs. But there are some programs that I really want you to pay attention to, that I want you to be really attentive to the subject matter. You've heard the cliche that when you see something, you ought to say something. And when it appears that something is strange, out of the norm, rather than ignoring it, you really ought to pay attention to it. God placed His Holy Spirit inside of us as an indicator. And to His Holy Spirit is to guide us, is to give us wisdom, is to talk to us, and to show us how to live. And so you're not here alone. You're not here without indicators. My guest today, I am so delighted to have my guest here today to talk about a very serious matter that I want you to become intimately aware of, and that it becomes intentional, that when you move about the marketplace, that you begin to notice things that just seem so out of place. So I want you to join me today for my guest. And I'm so glad that they made time for me today. My guest, Helen Brown, my first guest is Helen Brown. She is the sex offender registrar and the human trafficking coordinator for Hinds County. She's the co-founder of Friends of Fallen Riders and founder and CEO of No More Tears. I know she's a beautiful lady on screen. But also, I also have Nikita Lofton Carter. Nikita is a board member of No More Tears, a lovely lady as well. So Helen and Nikita, welcome to Defining Moments.
Thank you for having us.
So we're talking about, let's just go ahead and get started. I shared with you in the green room prior to us coming on the air, I said your kind of calling is more than work.
Right.
It has to be a calling because your heart is broken with the things that you've seen as an officer of the law, the things that you've experienced, some situations that you've gotten involved in when it comes to human trafficking. It's hard for me to even wrap my mind around how one person can kidnap another person and use them to profit.
Well, let me say this. I also talked to you a little bit about, I felt like I was born into this, that I didn't know back then. Just like my nephew, we'll say, take that for instance. His mother, when I was coming up, they told me that she was a prostitute.
Wow.
But I didn't know the difference then in a prostitute and being prostituted. You know, there's a big difference. And so...
Wait. Slow. Now that's powerful. There's a difference in being a prostitute and prostituted.
Correct.
That's powerful.
Yes, being prostituted, that means she has a pimp or a madam who's basically gaining something, money, getting money off of them because they're feeding them drugs. Nobody ever told me that part. I just thought she was a bad person just for doing that. I was a child, you know, but as I got older and I started seeing things, I'm like, and then I saw this lady that was coming to Jackson and doing things on human trafficking. I was like, you know, I have children. So I was interested. You know, the first case that was tried in Jackson, Mississippi, I was in court, in the federal court.
Wow.
So I didn't know these people from Adam. I wasn't even in law enforcement then, but it was like I was hungry for it. I saw the movie Taken.
Right.
I was hungry because I wanted to protect my children. And like you said, the children being kidnapped. Let me tell you something. People don't understand that it's not only being kidnapped. You have familiar trafficking, where these
familiar trafficking.
Correct. Where these victims who've been victimized, they're being victimized by somebody they have encountered or somebody they know, even their family members, their mother, their fathers, their uncles. Nobody ever talks about that part. Only thing they'll tell them to do is watch out for that white van, because that white van is probably
exactly right.
Yeah, they're going to tell you that, but they're not going to tell you that you know, mom might tell you to do some things that you know is wrong.
And you know what? And please forgive me for that hard interruption.
That's okay.
You've just educated me. I thought I knew some of the signs. I'm exactly right, because my wife and I, we've told our children, watch out for that panel van. Yeah. If it's driving slowly in the neighborhood, or if it's driving slowly at close to the walkway, and it has no stickers or signs on, watch it. But now you're saying watch those kinds of vehicles, but also those that victimize others, those predators could be living in your family.
Correct. And also in the schools, because you have to understand, wherever their children, that's where the predators they're gonna go.
Oh my goodness.
Even if that means sending a recruiter to the schools, it might be a child your child's age. They will recruit them into doing the same thing they're doing. They're smart. They're very smart.
So, and you kind of you talked about it a second ago about before you were even in law enforcement, and now you're a law enforcement officer, and you have a reputation, by the way, in this community that you don't play. you know, but you're very passionate.
I am.
About, and you're not just a desk officer, you're amongst the people in the community.
I am.
What led to you making the decision to become a law enforcement officer?
Let me tell you, this is not anything that I chose to do.
Really?
It's not anything, to be honest. I was an accounting major. And
An accounting major?
Yes, I never will forget it. That when the late Sheriff Victor Mason,
Yes.
he told me, he said, you know, the things that you're doing in the community, I would like for you to come over to the sheriff's office, you know, and do that. I was like, nah, you know, I'd rather stay over here. I'm making good money here, you know. But when I tell you, when God wants you places, he'll shake you up and he'll move you. And I say maybe 2 months later, my job ended. I had to call the late Sheriff Mason up and ask, hey, that position you were talking about,
Is it still open?
It's still open? But when I called him, and he was open arms, and I had no clue on law enforcement. And he told me, he said, look, so what we're going to do, we're going to get you through our reserve program. And also, you're going to get back in school, and you're going to go to school for criminal justice. And I did that. And I tell you, I think it was the best decision that I ever made, because I enjoy it, because I'm able to the things that I do at work now, I'm able to take that into the community, and I let them see that there are officers here that really help us. There are good officers, a lot of us out there, you know. And like I say, I commend my the command staff where I work, because they are amazing. They know what I do, and they're behind me 100%.
Do you feel that you were born to do exactly, you were created to do
Yes,
what
I do.
you were do?
I do.
That you're doing. I said Sunday at church, I said, you know, God has a way of closing doors.
Yes.
That he doesn't want you to go through.
Correct.
He also has a way of opening doors that he wants you to go through, and he will end seasons.
Right.
Not because he's trying to harm you, but he's trying to keep you in your destiny.
Correct.
For the reason that he created you for.
Correct.
Now, I'm sure you're still using some of the techniques and things that you've learned in accounting in your current position, but you feel satisfied. You you feel fulfilled.
I do.
In the arena that you're in now.
I do. I feel like I'm making a difference, you know. And we always say, if we could save one, then we're doing our job. And I feel like we're saving several, you know, because we're that backbone for a lot of people that people don't see, because a lot of things we don't post.
So let me ask you this. So now you're a law enforcement officer.
Yes.
But how did you get involved in human trafficking?
Because
that area.
Okay, so you know, I'm a co-founder of Friends of Fallen Riders, which is a motorcycle organization, and human trafficking was one of our platforms. And so I would go and speak in the schools on human trafficking. And so when I came to the sheriff's office, I implemented that at the sheriff's office. So I became the human trafficking coordinator.
Wow.
You know, and thanks to those who basically took me under their wing and taught me a lot of things about human trafficking, you know, I've learned a lot.
Does it break your heart?
It does.
And would you assume, is it safe to assume that those that are trafficked are young children, or
they are.
Typically, what is the age limit?
Sometimes they say maybe 12.
Really?
Yeah, it starts at 12. But I've heard some things of some younger. To be honest, my opinion, I don't think you can put an age on it, because wherever there's I'll say, a need that these sick individuals have, then that's what they're going to request. They're going to pay for it. So that's why you see so many people. You can see parents selling their own children just for money.
Selling their own children.
Money or drugs. And you know that's something mental. That's not anything normal that you would do. So 9 times out of 10, that parent, they probably gone through that same thing themselves.
They've been trafficked,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they're trafficking, and they're profiting off of that.
Correct. Yes, sir.
My goodness. Typically, is a child that has been kidnapped, are they immediately moved out of that state into another state or into another country? Or
It just depends.
typically, what do you see?
It just depends. I mean, sometimes they move them around. You know, they'll move them around to different states. but sometimes they're right here. And when you say kidnapped, you know,
Because that's what it is, isn't it?
it is. It's really kidnapping. But like I say, sometimes it's their parent, so they don't have to go too far. You know.
So is human, when you're being trafficked, if it is their parent, are they taking out of the home or
Yes, CPS is involved, and CPS is our first line of defense. Anytime it comes to a juvenile child, a lot of people will say, well, why do you call CPS? I mean, it wasn't the mom's fault. Well, CPS is the one who's supposed to protect that child. So when it comes to a juvenile, CPS is our first line of defense, is to contact them.
it is more noticeable now than ever, but it seems that human trafficking is a vile epidemic.
It is, because it's so many ways that when you say human trafficking, it's so many things that fall under that. You have sextortion, you know, you have the people, like, let me tell you, I didn't even know when these people on the side of the street asking for money when they have children, that's a part of human trafficking.
What?
I didn't know that. Because I ran up on a young lady who was outside of a store, I won't say the name, outside of a shopping center, and she had a sign that said she was trying to get back to Memphis, and she had a little baby. She was maybe 19, and when it said Memphis, a light bulb lit up in my head. So I stopped and I said, okay, well, I'll pay for you a room. She said she needed a room and she wanted trying to get back to Memphis. So I said, I'll pay for your room, but you're gonna have to use your own ID. And she said, well, I don't have my ID. I said, where's your ID? Do you need me to help you get ID? Because I would take her. That's just what we do. And she said, well, somebody has it.
Oh.
And when she said that, a
bill,
light bulb.
bill,
It
yeah.
just ding, 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 ding. You know, so I went ahead and I said, well, come on, let's go in the store and let me get your child something to eat, buy Pampers, whatever you need me to do. And the entire time, I had already notified the task force and to let them know what was going on. And lo and behold, that somebody did have the information, all her documents, and they were getting all the money from her. Because, you know, you see a baby there around Christmas time. What do they, you know, everybody's going to give money.
Sure.
But with me, I kind of look beneath the surface because I like fixing things. I
Yeah.
don't like just on
Right.
top, just, you know, sugarcoating something.
Yeah. Not that it is, but why it is.
That's why I wanted to know. You know, you've been outside the store 2 weeks, they said. So, no, and this is a baby. Nobody's called CPS. Long story short, they had been doing this in several states.
Wow.
Yes, and they had
So
been looking for this child.
was it easy to track I guess her pimp or the one that was?
She told who did it. And that's why, like you say, when you see something,
You ought to say something.
Make these reports, because you never know when they're looking for these people. You might have the piece to the puzzle, you know. And I always say, these children can't talk. They can't tell. They're gonna always, even though if their mother is an abuser, everybody wants their mother, regardless. So we have to look out for these kids.
In fact, that just hit my heart when you said that. I just want you to look in that camera there, this camera right here.
Okay.
And I just want you to tell the people what you told me about when you see something, say something. Will you make that appeal to them right now? When
you see something, you say something. Get out of the mindset that it's not your business, because it is your business. Because you never know these situations, these children that are being exploited, they might be friends with your children. And then your children will fall victim. So you need to see, when you see something, say something. We're going to post the numbers where you can report things to the human trafficking hotline. And anytime there's a child involved, you need to make sure you call the CPS hotline. Listen, only dial 911 when there's an actual emergency. But when you think something's going on, I don't care if you get that gut feeling. Always call that human trafficking hotline, because that will generate an entire investigation.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So it's not enough that you're an officer and you're assigned to this task force, if it were, but you started an organization.
Yes.
No more tears.
No more tears.
So what is this organization, No More Tears, about?
Well, with us dealing with victims, those who have been victimized, because I've learned to stop calling them victims. That's one thing that the people that I'm dealing with, that's what they told me.
Okay.
We've been victimized. So we build foundations for them.
Okay.
And when I say foundations, we don't just just meet these people and just leave them. What we do is basically, if they need help finding a place to stay, jobs,
Yeah, I'm
food,
going.
any-
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
any-
going. Yeah, because
look, I'm looking at her like to help me.
Hey, my name is Kyle Reno, Senior Pastor at Cross Gates Baptist Church. Here's a defining moment from this last Sunday. For we are God's masterpiece. I love the reason I'm using this translation is because it uses that word. Others says workmanship. It's the same picture. It's the same. It's the word actually you get poem from as well. Man, you know masterpieces, right? Michelangelo had the sculpture of David. Man, it was a masterpiece. You associate his name with that work. You can hear certain songs, man. You can hear some Mozart or some Beethoven, some musical works, and you'll say, man, that's the masterpiece of their artistic expression. Man, that was their gifting and their creativity at the heightened state. You think about Da Vinci and the Mona Lisa. Man, even when you think about God, you think about certain things only God could do, right? Across redemptive history. By the way, we know a God that created sun and moon, sky and stars. He created universes and galaxies that, listen to me, that we know not of yet. Even on our home planet, Earth, man, we can stand at the rim of the Grand Canyon and go, golly, right? If you've ever stood at the rim of the Grand Canyon and thought how great you are, you're in trouble. Hey, thank you for taking some time to listen to that defining moment from this last week. If you'd like to listen to the sermon in its entirety, you can go to crossgates.org, and we would love to have you visit with us any week on any of our Sunday experiences or our midweek opportunities. I'd encourage you this week to take some time and really think about what moments right now are defining your destination. God has more in store for you. Hope to see you soon.
Because the key is this, and I want my producer to keep that held up for a second. Sometimes we feel like, Lord, what you called me to do is so overwhelming.
Yes.
Where am I going to get the resources from? And so I've learned in my own life, you just be obedient.
Yes.
You just do what the Lord, and He will bring resources
And He
and
does.
people to you.
He does.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Nikita Lofton Carter.
Yes.
Now, you're one of the board members
Yes.
of No More Tears. Mm-hmm. So how did you get here in terms of how did you get to No More Tears and why?
Man, I actually met Helen in 2022, latter part of 2022. And I really didn't find out more about what she was doing with the organization until in 23. So once I started talking to her and finding out more about it, I was in. She asked me would I be a board member, but in my mind, I'm already actively working with you guys,
right.
Because I come from a service background. I work with a nonprofit organization on a daily basis, and I work in conjunction with a lot of different nonprofits around the state. So that was the perfect linkage for No More Tears. We feel like we're able to link the people who've been victimized with the services they may need, whether it's hotel assistance, rental assistance, food assistance, just anything like that. Even when it comes to education assistance, anything that's going to be something that's a mechanism to bring a wraparound service to that particular person. Wraparound meaning they're gonna be able to go from each place to place to get everything to make sure that they have a holistic solution to whatever it is they're dealing with at that moment. So that's how Helen and I really, really clicked. Because I've been doing this, seeing homeless people, not necessarily knowing their background all the time, whether they've been human trafficked or what's happened with them. I just see the homeless side. So I know that I'm used to dealing with that part. So it was a perfect connection for Helen and I.
What bit you, as it were, in terms of where did, because I can hear your passion.
Yes.
I mean, your passion is coming out. Where did that come from?
It came from knowing what some of the youth go through as children, being victims of human trafficking and sexual abuse, because I was abused sexually as a child. So that was a no-brainer for me. it's always been a passion for me to, help people who've been through what I've been through. I've been through homelessness at some points in my life. I've been through abuse, sexual, physical, mental, emotional, the whole gambit. And I'm very passionate about that because my grandmother raised me as a person to always be empathetic and to always reach out to help somebody regardless of who they are. I don't worry about that person's background, their economic situation prior to whatever they're going through now. I do not judge. I just see a need and I help. And that's where Helen and I really, really connect.
Another human being. It's very interesting to me that, and I've seen and I've noticed that people like yourself, me and Helen, many of the times what the Lord saves you from, I've learned where he saves you from is the very place that he sends you back to.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I'm realizing that as an adult and as I grow, I'm in my 40s or whatever, and some things come later in life. You learn and you realize some things later in life, and we sometimes question God and ask God, what is our purpose? What is our purpose? What is our purpose? What is the plan for me? What is your plan for me? But I stopped asking him, what is the plan for me? I started asking him, what is my purpose in your plan?
Wow.
And I've
whoa. Now that's, we're about to have church up there.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Say that again. You stop asking God,
what is your plan for me? And I started asking him, what is my purpose in your plan? And that's when things really, really opened up to me. I started seeing how God was moving in my life and the situations that come about in my life that I am faced with. And I know it's nothing but God. I know it's nothing but God. Just like with Helen and I, the stories that Helen tells, they remind me of situations that I've had in my life, and they remind me of situations that I've known other people to have had. And it just makes me even more passionate about doing the work.
Why didn't you just shut down? Because I'm sure you've been asked, why didn't you just shut down and become angry at God and just become to others what you had been preyed on you?
Man, I've been asked that a lot of times, and the people that know me, that know what I went through as a child, they really have that question because they saw it in real time.
Wow.
And my siblings and I, we all dealt with it in a different way, but I used it as a catalyst to drive me to do more, to make an impact on this particular thing. My grandmother raised me. I was raised in a very religious household. So my grandmother raised me with a whole lot of faith. I saw faith firsthand with my grandmother. And I think that's where it comes from. My grandmother, man, she was an amazing lady.
So I sense, Nikita, that someone is watching us now that has been violated time and time and time again.
Yes.
Your decency, you feel as though your decency has been taken away from you. And you have felt stripped. And this is your first time seeing this program. And you were scrolling and you were surfing and you ended up on this program today. I want to celebrate with you. Say celebrate because God loved you enough that he interrupted your normal routine and you had to find us. Because Helen and Nikita are here today to share with you and to encourage that you matter. So for those persons, Nikita, that person, it's a lady in your 30s, you feel worthless. She feel like giving up. She feels ostracized. How would you encourage her? I want you to look at her right now and encourage her that she matters and there's hope.
I would encourage you that no matter what the situation looks like, more than anything, I would encourage you to keep going, keep pushing, keep being great, even in the least. Every day of your life is an opportunity. Every day of your life is an opportunity to be better, to be greater. But you first got to get past your own self. You got to get past the thoughts that you're not worthy, because you are. You're still here. As long as you got that thump in your chest, God has given you an opportunity to realize who you are and whose you are. Just trust and believe that God has you. Keep going. Keep going.
And you matter. Helen, where'd you come up with the name No More Tears? Earlier we saw the graffiti. I don't know if it's more of a graffiti than it is a mural, but we saw that. Where'd you come up with the name No More Tears? And how was that inspired?
This is going to be crazy. It sound crazy to you, okay? Because I was helping out at the jail one night, and I was booking in.
You were doing what now?
Working at the jail.
Helping out at the jail.
Yes.
Okay.
I found a lot of people in that jail who's been victimized, by the way.
Wow.
So I was booking in, and this guy came in, and he had NMT on his face. And I said, we have to type in the tattoos and all that. And he said, it's not a gang. And I said, I didn't say it. I just wanted to know what did it stand for. And he said, it's no more tears. God said he'll wipe all my tears away.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like.
And it hit you.
And it hit me. And look, I'm about to get emotional now.
It hit you like it's hitting you now.
Yes. And he said, that's what it stands for. He said, because no matter what I've done, he's going to wipe all my tears away. And I said, that's the name of my organization. He was like, excuse me? I said, that's the name of my organization. And that's where I got the name.
No More Tears.
No More Tears.
When I asked you that question earlier, we were talking about you being a guest on the program, and I asked you the very same question. And you said that you believe that your calling is to help wipe away the tears of those that are victimized.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And you're in the community a whole lot.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing here?
We were at the Village Apartments. It was a back to school event, but ours was a little bit different. We didn't have school. We didn't have paper folders, notebooks, but we had uniforms, underwear, socks, belts, things that children need. And what we did, we went to the poverty-stricken area. This apartment complex, the Village, it is an apartment complex we have adopted, and we've been over there maybe for probably over 12 years. We've been over there doing this things throughout the year. And in the process of us doing this, we also bring awareness to human trafficking.
Wow.
So, and it's not limited to the Village Apartments, but we just chose that area because most of the times a lot of children who are victimized or people who are victimized come from the poverty-stricken areas. So we wanted to go back there.
Do you feel overwhelmed many times when you consider, when I'm in the marketplace, whether it's at the post office or just anywhere, large retail big box stores, and I see posters,
Yeah.
this child is missing.
Yes.
And I'm not looking at just one flyer.
Several.
I'm looking at a whole wall
Yes.
of flyers. Does that get overwhelming to you?
It bothers me because I want to know why. I'm always that person that I want to know why, how, what happened, and that's I think that's probably one of my downfalls because my heart goes out to people, especially children in need. So I feel like for us to be boots on the ground, we don't just talk about it. We're about it.
And we're going to give some indicators in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So I want, you're like, well, how do you recognize? We're going to give those indicators, what to watch out for.
Yeah.
Are there different times of the year that human trafficking or kidnapping is at its highest? My assumption would be during the holiday season.
I would say anytime there are large events that comes to an area.
Really?
Yeah, any type of large event.
Like concert. Well, and guess what? And like fairs, state fairs.
State fair. Any type of large event. I don't want to start
I
naming things,
sure.
because I don't want anybody
Well, I
to,
said it, but
okay.
you didn't say it.
But
I said
any
it.
type of large event, it's gonna draw a lot of prostitution. It's gonna draw a lot of it. People are traveling. Like you said, some holidays. It's gonna follow.
What would you tell parents when they're at a large events with their children?
Pay attention to your children. Those phones that they have, those devices that you think you just put them in a room, you never know who's probably reaching out to them on these apps that they have on their phone, a list of apps. There are lots of them, even Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, Roblox, the games that they're always playing. People are, wherever they're children, they're always going to be predators. So you just have to pay attention.
Where there are children, there are always predators.
Always. I don't care where you go. You can go to the mall. You can go to the movies. You can go to the library.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things and my wife and I would never allow our children to do this. We never dropped our children off at the mall and allowed the mall to babysit our children.
Well, I wish a lot of people thought like you all, because it's like a baby daycare in there. Nobody's watching them. So
and they're putting their children in danger.
In danger, yes. And what's going to happen? You're going to have someone that's going to notice those children. They're going to notice them, and they're going to come and probably offer them something that they're not allowed to have, to make them think they're cool, to make them think that they're if I get some J's, or I get an iPhone, or if I get some lashes, or maybe I get a wig or something. Those are things that children want. If I get a pair of jeans, new jeans,
and I don't have to pay for them.
I don't have to pay for them, and my mom and dad can't afford it. So if I just do this, if I just get them a picture, if I get them, just a picture with me, with my just my underwear on, it's not gonna hurt anything, But
wow.
But I'll just do that, and my mom won't know. But then what's gonna happen is, when they send that picture with just the underwear on, now what's gonna happen is they're gonna tell them, if you don't do this, if you don't give me a picture with you naked, I'm gonna post this picture right here on social media.
I got you. And in national news, we've witnessed occurrences that young people have committed suicide.
Oh, yes.
Because they've taken pictures of themselves inappropriately,
yes.
And they've been blackmailed.
Right. Sextortion. Yes.
So for those that are hearing this for the first time, what is sextortion? Basically,
sextortion is going to be something just like I just talked about, with them asking you maybe for a picture, and then they extort you and say, hey, you got to send me with this picture right here with you naked. And if you don't, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show your mom. I'm going to send this to the church. Your mom will go to church. So I'm going to send this to the church. You got to send me more. Or go and take a picture of your younger sibling naked.
Wow. Listen, in a few minutes, what we're going to do is give some indicators, because I don't want to talk in generalities and give a broad brush, but there are some indicators that you can adopt. And when you're in the marketplace, whether it's in the grocery store, whether it's in the mall or at the fair, at football games or concert, Helen just said, any large events, there's an opportunity. There's a possibility that prostitution is going on, as well as those that want to kidnap for human trafficking. Listen, another organization that you founded was Friends of Fallen Riders. What is that? Now you are. I don't want to meet you. If I get pulled over by you on the side of the road, I'm just gonna go ahead and write me a ticket. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because, ladies and gentlemen, listen, she is tall and look like she's been to the weight room, and I believe that if she have to run after me, it's not gonna end well for me. All right, but it's not. So you are a motorcycle rider as well.
I am, yes, sir. I am.
My wife says I'm always. She said my wife says Larry is fascinated with female 18-wheel drivers and motorcycle drivers.
Oh, really?
Riders.
Really?
I don't know why.
Well, I started Friends of Fallen Riders with Stephanie Young, which is my co-founder.
Yeah.
And it was back in 2004, and we started Friends of Fallen Riders because there was a lot of people losing their lives on motorcycles.
Yeah,
and we would be like, well, who is that? Who is that? And we said, what we're going to get together, and we're just going to have a big cookout. And we had a cookout on the corner of Briarwood and State Street. I'll never forget it. It was packed. It was jam-packed. It was so many bikers there. And so we didn't have all this technology back then.
Yeah.
There was some, but we wasn't knowledgeable of it. So we just started a text list and started texting bikers when we was doing things. So, and we were doing motorcades. for a victim.
Wow.
People who have been lost their lives due to motorcycle fatalities. So, and then the community saw what we were doing. And so they start requesting us to do toy drives, in which we already, the people who were killed on motorcycles, we would adopt their children for Christmas.
Oh, goodness.
So we would come in packs. We would come in packs, nothing but motorcycles, just community service. So, like I said, and that's when we got in the community, really. They were asking us to do all kinds of things. And so that's how we started. And I started getting our platforms to speak on no texting and driving, human trafficking, suicide awareness. We just had so many things that we would go to the schools and speak on.
So you weave your life's work in all of your platforms.
I do, yes.
Whether it is supporting
Yes.
this cause or human you're every place that you go, you're talking about human trafficking.
Correct. So now what I do, excuse me. So now what I've traveled. I've been traveling for a long time.
You were traveling when I talked to you last week.
I was.
You were coming from an event, going to an event.
Yes. So and it's what we're doing now. We're bringing more women bikers together.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a platform with the Human Trafficking and HIV Awareness.
Okay.
We've teamed up with AIDS Healthcare Foundation. So we've been doing a lot.
You do a lot.
We've been doing, but it's not work for me. It's a passion. So
it's a calling, isn't it?
It's a calling, and people are like, don't you get tired? Well, riding motorcycles is my therapy.
Wow.
It's my therapy. So why not incorporate? You have a large.
How long have you been riding?
Maybe almost 30 years.
30 years.
Yes. Yes.
So what kind of what's your
Harley, Road Glide.
Boy, oh, listen now. She said that with pride.
Road Glide. Say it with my chest.
Listen, say what you. Well, I let you say that, not me. Right. But I've told people, boy, when you hear there's one sound that you know
Yes.
it's a Harley.
Mm-hmm.
The Harley sounds just roar. It has that roar to it.
Yes. Attitude.
And she said it with an attitude.
I just love riding motorcycles because, like, when I say not only that, but children see motorcycles and they love them.
They do.
And so
so you use that as a tool.
Exactly. They love see people ride motorcycles. So I go to the community and bring awareness. So they be just like I showed you the picture from the fair.
Yes.
When I was working the fair, the little girl ran up and she said, "Oh, you the human trafficking lady."
Oh, wow.
Because they remember things like that. So you have to get their attention.
I know that, you founded the organization. What would you tell motorists, the four-wheelers, about two-wheelers? What would be the greatest advice that you can offer to us when we are around and driving beside those that are on motorcycles?
Look twice, save a life. And I know we have a lot of bikers out there that do some things that they're not supposed to, but we're not those people. You're going to have good and bad in everything that you do. So please just look twice and save a life, because you have mothers out there, you have fathers out there, uncles, brothers, doctors, lawyers, police. We have professional jobs. Mm-hmm. Just stop telling us how dangerous motorcycles are and just promise me that you'll look twice for us.
Be aware.
Just be aware. And people say there are certain riding seasons. I ride year round. So just always just look twice. If you see a motorcycle, just let them pass. And if you see us riding in a motorcade, I can guarantee you we're doing some type of charity event or somebody's passed away. Just let us pass, and we'll pass sooner or later.
Yeah, I was coming in town. I was driving from out of state last week, and I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw this motorcycle group coming
Mm-hmm.
up, and I was going just a tad bit faster, and I was in the left lane, but I got in the right lane to allow the whole group to pass by me.
We appreciate that.
Because I wanted to offer them the courtesy.
Correct.
And it seemed to me that they were riding in a group
Yes.
and they needed to stay
Mm-hmm.
in the group. And I didn't want to well, I'm going to take the lane. They need to slow down. I wanted to offer them the courtesy of go ahead. And like they were doing their thing. Plus, I just like to look anyway. I like seeing that group anyway. I'm like, wow.
And it's no telling what they were doing. They could have been doing it, because we do a lot of charity things, a lot of charity events.
So is there a way for people to support your organization? How
Yes.
can they support your organization? Let's talk about Fallen Riders first. Friends of Fallen Riders.
Well, Friends of Fallen Riders, you can reach us on Facebook. There's
Okay.
a Facebook page. It's called Friends of Fallen Riders on Facebook.
Okay.
And for No More Tears, we have a website.
Okay.
It's nmtears.com.
Okay.
And there's a link on there if you want to sponsor any of our events. If
Yeah.
you want to sponsor any of
I was
them.
going to say, is there room for corporate sponsors? Is
Yes,
there
there
room for
is.
volunteerism?
It is.
So if people would like to either volunteer, be a part of,
Yes.
or to support your organization, No More Tears or Friends of Fallen Riders,
Yes.
they can go to, again,
nmtears.com.
repeat that again.
nmtears.com.
Okay. And there's opportunity for them to do that.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about, and my producer is going to put it on the screen. Let's talk about human trafficking again.
Okay.
And I mentioned that there were some physical and environmental indicators. People are like, well, I'm unaware. You know, I don't know what to look for. I don't know what to suspect. I have said that the Lord has placed the Holy Spirit inside of us.
Right.
And if something doesn't look right, if something doesn't feel right, chances are
It's not right.
it's not right. So again, you can go to the website, nmtears.com, and of course, you can find out how to support the organization, how to get involved in the organization as well. But some physical, and I did some research, some physical and environmental indicators, and I want you to speak to these one by one. Sign of abuse. Look for bruises. Number 2, tattoos and branding.
Oh, yes.
Lack of personal items. You said about the driver's license. Living conditions and inappropriate attire. So again, what are some physical and environmental indicators? Sign of abuse, tattoos and branding,
Yes.
lack of personal items, living conditions, and inappropriate attire.
Correct.
Speak to those.
Well, let's talk about the branding.
Okay.
A lot of people think maybe the dollar signs, not the dollar signs, but the barcodes. You
The
know,
barcode.
Yeah, because I saw a young lady with a barcode. She was working in the grocery store, and you know, my radars went up. Like, because you need to know, these people need to know what tattoos you're getting, because the pimp or the madam is going to brand them, and that's going to brand and just show other pimps that this is my property.
Wow.
Now,
So a brand is not just a brand, is an indicator.
yes, it's an indicator, and not all pimps are going to have brands, because, and it's not every tattoo is, you're not going to be identified like I thought with the barcode. You're not going to be able to say, oh yeah, they're being trafficked, you know, because every pimp has a different brand, you know, a different tattoo. So, and then, you know, a lot of people that are homeless also, like she said, the field that she works in, a lot of homeless people are at risk for being trafficked. Where our logo, well, not the logo, where No More Tears is downtown on the side of the building, they put that in the right place because
Really?
it's right by the bus station, the bus and train station. Because there's a lot of things that go on down there, downtown at that where that train station and bus station is.
Because it's a transit area.
Exactly.
Come in and leave.
Correct. Any bus station you go to, really.
Nikita, when you see that logo, what is that logo saying? When people see that logo, and I'm looking at children, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't want to ask a question and then answer it myself. But when I take a look at that logo, what am I to take away from that logo?
It's a beacon. It's a beacon of hope for people who are going through
Yeah.
anybody that's going through sexual abuse, being human trafficked, whether it's children, adults, or whatever, even men, young
Yes.
boys, you know, regardless of which demographic you fall within, that for me is a symbol of hope.
Yes.
And you just said something a moment ago that's very interesting. All victims are not girls and females.
Correct.
You said boys as well.
Boys as well, especially young men who are homosexual. They are targeted.
Yes.
They are targeted. And where this mural is, it's also in close proximity to some of the homeless shelters in Jackson.
Right.
All right. So, and I've for the last 15 minutes, I've wanted to ask this question. So now it's a proper time to ask it. We've talked about the victims.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say if someone just happened to be, because they're itching ears, what would you talk about? What would you say to the madam or the pimp right now? Or what would you tell those that are victimizing? What would you tell? Because I believe that if they're watching, God is trying to talk to them right now.
Oh, yeah.
So what would you tell them?
Oh, yeah. Imagine if that was your child.
Oh, my goodness.
Imagine if that was your niece or your nephew. Because some people who victimize others dare not have themselves or their families victimized. You would be highly offended. What if that was your family? You have to put yourself in other people's shoes. You are hurting people and generations of people. It's not just that one instance that you're impacting. You're impacting generations to come.
What would you say, Helen?
Just like she said, just put yourself in their shoes. You know, how can you hurt someone like that? How can you sell a human being?
Right.
You know, money is basically the root of all evil. You know, just break that curse. Break that cycle.
All right, so let me be the angel's advocate. I don't ever say I want to be the devil's advocate. I say let me be an angel's advocate. So Helen, it was done to me, so I'm gonna do to others what it was done to me, and I'm making large money. What would you say? What would you say? What would you say?
Break that cycle.
That's good.
Break that cycle.
Right.
You know, go and get help. Get some help, because hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people. You know how it made you feel.
Yes.
You know the pain, the hurt that you carry in your heart today because of what you went through. And you're re-traumatizing yourself by victimizing other people.
So you said a moment ago, you said tattoos, watch the branding, and you said lack of personal items, lack of personal identity. Because you asked the young lady on the side of the road, you know, I can get you some help, but show me your driver's license. She said, I don't have my driver's license.
Yes.
Somebody's holding my driver's license. They're holding us hostage.
Yes.
So let's talk about behavior and social indicators. Fear or anxiety, loss of control, scripted response, social isolation, deferring to a companion.
Yes.
What would you say to that? Scripted response. And when I say a scripted response, you're like, oh yeah.
Right, because most of the time, if you're able to catch a person who's been victimized with their madam or pimp, they're not going to make eye contact. They're not going to talk to you. That person's going to always speak for them. And 9 times out of 10, if they're in a traffic stop, they won't even know which state they're in. They probably don't even know who they're riding with, because they're going to keep them always under the influence of something. You know, they're going to be withdrawn. Even if they're with their family and being trafficked or are being exploited, they're going to always just be withdrawn. You know, their outfits are going to change, their clothing. Not everybody dressed like that is going to be trafficked, okay? Let's be clear. But sometimes their attire will change. Their friends will change. You know, just...
So a strong indicator is if you're in a mall, if you're at a concert, if you're at a football game, and this child seems to be withdrawn or bashful or won't engage, that's an indicator.
Something's going on. I'm going to say that. Something's going on. You know, especially if you late night Waffle House. Let me say that part. You know, because I've been in Waffle House, you know, after, you know, maybe a concert or something, and sitting there, and I'm just looking like, I know good and well this is what's going on here. You know, they won't look at you, you know, just always down.
The child.
The whomever, they're going to look down. You know, never going to make eye contact with you. And if you ask them, well, what do you want? The waitress asks, what do you want? They're not going to say. That person's going to order for them. They don't have a voice.
They've been scripted.
Yes.
They've been they've probably been threatened.
Correct. And if you ask who this is, who you're with, oh, that's my boyfriend. You know, they'll always identify their pimp as their boyfriend. They're in a relationship with them.
So, and we don't want to go through the entire program without allowing people to know where to go. That if you see something, say something. There's a national human trafficking hotline, 1-888-373-7888. Is that correct?
Correct.
The national human trafficking hotline is 1-888-373-7888. And I've learned, even just talking to you, if you see something suspicious and you're ill-equipped, me as a citizen, don't try to intervene.
No, don't.
But reach out to a law enforcement officer
Correct.
immediately.
Immediately.
Is that appropriate?
Correct. If they're in danger, you can dial 911 immediately. But now, if you're a neighbor that see a lot of young girls or young boys in and out of somebody's house, and you're like, "There's something's going on," you know, over there, and I think they maybe exploiting these children. So that's a line you can call. Or
Okay.
if you feel like somebody's being trafficked, that 1-800, that 888 number, that's the number to call.
So again, and I'm glad you said that, because most folk, they probably won't remember the 888 number. You need to write it down. I'm
Yes.
giving you a number right now. 1-888 is the National Human Trafficking Hotline. 1-888-373-7888. All right. Then also there's another number that if you suspect that a child is being trafficked under 18, the number is 1-800-222-8000. 1-800-222-8000. If you suspect someone over 18, you can dial the number 1-844-437-6282. That's 1-844-437-6282. But if you forget all of that, if you forget all of those numbers, what I heard you saying a moment ago, dial 911.
For emergencies, dial 911. Or you can just Google the number, Human Trafficking Hotline. You know, but like I say, if immediate danger, you feel like somebody's in immediate danger, you most definitely, any case, you dial 911.
Is there a time of, we're about to, it's fall, but yet we're about to go into festive time of the year.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
a lot of football games, Christmas time, which means that people will be out shopping.
Right.
Does this time of year give you a little bit more anxiety than any other time of the year, because you know that people are going to be out?
Yes. And children out of schools. So their parents are working and they have nothing really to do. So they get curious on things. And you'll be surprised, these children that give your addresses out to your home, maybe on Roblox or any type of social media.
What in the world?
Yeah, because you have to understand, you're giving these children these devices, and that's all they have in their room. So these people that they're playing games with become their friends. They think they don't know.
So
who's
giving
behind.
your information, whether it is your phone number, whether it is your address, is a do me not.
Do not, because you don't know who's behind the screen. They could tell you your children's age, but yet and see, they could be somebody my age that's a predator.
So what advice, once again, and I'm going to ask this question to you as well as Nikita, what advice would you give to parents about supervising your children with these things?
Get all in their business. Those passwords, get every password you can in that phone. If you take that phone and that child acts like they want to fight, it's something going on in that phone.
If you want to take the phone from your child and they want to fight,
It's something going
or they're
on.
putting up the struggle,
Correct.
it's something going
It's
on.
something going on. And you look for all those apps that's on their phones. Maybe it's called a calculator, just different things, little apps or group texts that they have. Get in there and read those messages in those group texts. You're going to find out a whole lot that's going on. Because, just stay in your
Stay involved.
and be careful who your child allows to come to your house. I don't care if it's their friend. Make sure you talk to their friend's parents. Make sure you know who you're talking to on the phone.
And not only make sure that you know who's coming over their house, make sure Because a lot of parents, they condone, these sleepovers. Make sure you're careful about who you send your child
Yes.
to. The child, their friend may be okay, but their uncle them,
Or-
their
right.
auntie them, their mama them, their daddy them, their friend them.
Because that child could be a recruiter. You got to think about that now.
Wow.
That child could be a recruiter, getting other children to come over, so that their older brother or uncle or whoever could get them a fix. You know, they might watch them in the bathroom. They might have cameras set up in the bathroom, exploring your children while they're taking showers. All kinds of things.
What would you say, Nikita? What would you say to
I
parents?
would say to parents, first and foremost, educate yourself on all the potential hazards of your child being on social media, being on these different apps and things like that. Educate yourself so you know how to talk to your child.
Right.
You know how to educate them on all of the possible, things that could occur as a result of their activity online and things like that. You want to make sure that they understand, they have a good understanding, and don't stop. Don't just have that conversation once. This is something that needs to be going on ongoing.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude, but I want to give Helen and I want to give Nikita, I want to give you the final word. We have about 2 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot. All right. Listen, but you're an officer of the law, and you're big and tall, so I think you can handle yourself. Will you come back?
Yes, most definitely.
I think there's a need for us to stay before the community and remind them when something doesn't feel right. You just don't need to go along to get along. You need to say something.
Yes.
Human trafficking is at an epidemic
It is.
proportion. And we think about these burly people, these straggly looking people, tattooed up,
Yeah.
coming from out of another state
Right,
into
right.
another state. We have this cartoon picture of them. But you're saying that these pimps and prostitutes, they could be living under our roofs. They could be your next door neighbor. They could be church going folk. They could be people that you're working with.
College student,
College students,
football captain,
football captains.
could be anybody.
It could be anybody. And you say that with the face of believability means, and then you work in this industry, so you know. Take the next 30 seconds and just make an appeal to people that are watching. And I want you to do the same thing, Nikita.
Just be careful out there. Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you let in your house. Be careful who your children are around. Always pay attention. I don't care how someone dresses up, anything. I don't care what kind of uniform they put on. You need to understand, you have to keep your eye on everybody. Everybody is a suspect.
What would you say, Nikita?
I would say, going back to the topic of familial trafficking and familial abuse, my abuse came from somebody that I knew, that I had grown, they watched me grow up.
Wow.
They watched me grow up. So my advice is to watch your children around family members and people outside of your household, because I have experienced not being believed.
Yeah.
A family member abused me, and I was afraid to say anything. And when I did, I regretted it because I was not believed. Listen to your children.
Right.
Listen to your children.
My guests today have been Helen Brown. She is co-founder of Friends of Fallen Riders. Be careful, four-wheelers, when you're out there riding around the two-wheelers. They are somebody's mom, dad, aunt, uncle, sister, brother. Let's be courteous and let's give them respect. Also, she is founder of No More Tears. Her board member, Nikita Lofton Carter, has been my guest today. Make sure you go on their website, nmtears.com, and find a way to get involved to support them financially, volunteers, and however. I want to thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving and protecting and embracing your calling. Nikita, thank you
You're welcome.
for not just victimizing others and walking in your calling. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I want you to remember this, again, that you were created for divine purpose. And even if you You've made mistakes. We all have made mistakes. You don't have to keep making that mistake. Know that you matter. And today can be a fresh, starting over day for you. Lastly, if you see something that doesn't look right, say something.